Hey everyone, it's Sarah Jane with Chic on the Cheap, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited about today's video. It has been a while since I've done one of these. I want to say like 3 to 4 years, so yes, it is very overdue, but basically this is a question and answer video where I am answering the questions that you left for me on Instagram and on YouTube, and we are covering a number of topics, including some that I've never discussed here on my channel before, so I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first couple of questions have to do with YouTube, and the first one is, what made you start a YouTube channel, and do you have any advice for anyone who wants to start one? And oh my goodness, I could talk about YouTube for hours. Very passionate about YouTube. I feel like most YouTubers are, especially when you've been on the platform for as long as I have. I just celebrated my 6th anniversary here on YouTube, and I am so incredibly grateful and thankful that I get to do this for a living. And I'm so excited that it's worked out because I have always wanted to be a YouTuber. Ever since YouTube started, I was just trying to figure out, how can I be a YouTuber? And I thought it was impossible, you guys, because you were looking at the 3rd time that I tried to be a YouTuber. The hardest thing is just starting and remaining consistent. So even when you think it's not going to work out, maybe it could. I do realize, I feel like I got lucky along the way as well. I feel like anybody who makes it big got lucky, because there are a lot of talented people out there. There are a lot of people who deserve a lot more views and a lot more attention than they actually get. So I do feel like luck is part of the equation, but just remain consistent, start. And the third piece of advice I can give you is maybe think about not using your real first and last name when it comes to your channel name. When I created Chic on the Cheap, I was able to kind of hide behind the anonymity of Chic on the Cheap, and I was able to do what I wanted to do on YouTube without fear of being judged from people who actually knew me in real life. And don't tell your friends and family, because that's another thing. You want your channel to grow organically. You want people who are watching your videos to be interested in whatever you're talking about, so they'll watch your videos, they'll engage with them, and that is the best way to grow on any social media platform. The next question is, what is your full-time job? And I actually got this question quite a lot, and you're looking at it. I am a full-time YouTuber. I also dabble on Instagram. I'm trying to be consistent on that platform, but it's really hard because if I focus my attention on Instagram, then my YouTube suffers. If I focus too much attention on my YouTube, then my Instagram suffers. And it goes back to that whole, you have to be consistent on a platform to grow it all. And there's not enough time in the day, and I am a one-man team. So I do all of my filming, all of my graphics, all of the editing, just everything is done by me. So it just takes a long time to produce these videos. And then of course it takes a long time even to do just one reel on Instagram, but I'm not complaining. I'm just sharing like a little bit behind the scenes of like what all it takes to do this job. But I will say, for the first 3 years of my YouTube career, I did have a 9-to-5 job, and it wasn't until 2020 when, of course, we know what happened that year. I also went through a breakup. I broke up with a guy that I'd been dating for 5 years, and at the end of that year, I was like, okay, I'm quitting my office job. I am going to sell 90% of everything in my home, including my home itself. I'm gonna pack up my car, and I'm gonna move to Florida to be closer to my twin brother, and I'm gonna start over. So that's what I did. I moved and I started my career as a full-time YouTuber. Now, YouTube may look like an amazing job, and it truly can be, but at times it can be very lonely, very time-consuming, and also very stressful. And that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in, BetterHelp. The first few months of my YouTube career, I went from feeling excited to a bit lost. I was in a new city. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any structure in my life. I was going to bed super late. I was waking up late as well. I was also dating, and the guys that I was dating, they just weren't good for me, and I started to feel pretty depressed. I felt very low, and it was around that time when I was like, I really need to talk to somebody, and I pursued therapy, and that's how I found BetterHelp. BetterHelp connected me with a licensed therapist who could help me sort out my emotions and basically why I was feeling the way that I was feeling about my life and my relationships. I met with my therapist on a weekly basis on a video chat. I could see her and she could see me. It was like we were in a room together, but I was in the convenience of my own home. And if you're uncomfortable with a face-to-face interaction on a video call, you can always have your therapy sessions as a phone call or even via messaging. Basically, whatever's the most comfortable version of therapy for you. BetterHelp can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists in their network, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your area. And if you're busy like me, you'll really enjoy being able to schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. To get started, you'll fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched with your therapist, in most cases within 48 hours or less. Your mental health is truly so important, so if you think you might benefit from therapy, I would consider BetterHelp. Just click on the link down in the description box below or go to betterhelp.com/chic-on-the-cheap to get 10% off your first month of therapy at BetterHelp. I'm just so glad I was able to share my personal experience with BetterHelp years before they ever reached out to sponsor me. It just changed my life so much, and maybe it can change yours too. Okay, so moving on now to the next question, and that's how did I get started with Walmart, which is a great question because Walmart videos are a staple of my channel. And let's go back to 2018, September of 2018 to be exact. That's when I did my first ever Walmart fashion video, and I'll share a clip from that video right now. I had a strong side part going. I am a millennial and we love our side parts, what can I say? And I also had my cell phone propped up in the blinds of my bedroom window, so I didn't have a fancy camera. I just used my cell phone, and I also used natural light from my window. So I feel like that's like my YouTube channel in its purest, like earliest form. But that video got 190,000 views. So I was like, okay, there seems to be a lot of interest in Walmart fashion. I love it. I enjoy these videos. So I decided to do more of them, and one thing led to another. I caught Walmart's attention and they started sponsoring my YouTube videos. And I honestly, you guys, have not had a Walmart sponsored YouTube video in like a year, but they sponsor a lot of my Instagram content. So a lot of brands do prefer Instagram over YouTube, and I don't know the thinking behind that, but Walmart has moved over really to my Instagram, and it's been about a year since I've had a YouTube sponsored video by Walmart, but they're a great and fantastic partner. I value them so much, and I love the clothing. The clothing just gets better every single year, and it's what 90% of my wardrobe is. Okay, so this next question I got quite a lot, and it's what do I do with all of the clothing that I share with you here on my channel? And that's a great question because I do share a lot of clothes, and I think most people know that it would be nearly impossible to wear all of the pieces of clothing that I share with you on a daily basis. There are just not enough hours in the day nor events in the week to wear all of this clothes. So I will tell you, I donate 90% of what I share with you here on my channel. I have a friend who comes over and helps me manage the clothes on a weekly basis. She bags up the clothes and then she'll take them to different donation centers. There's also a program at a local high school here in North Carolina that we have found where we donate a lot of the clothes for underprivileged kids. So it's just amazing that I get to share with you the latest and greatest in affordable fashion here on my channel, and then I get to bless others with those clothes once I'm done sharing them with you. This next question addresses the elephant in the room, or at least for me, it feels like the elephant in the room, and it has to do with my DIYs, and it's why did I stop doing DIYs? So there are a lot of different things I could say in response to this question. But basically just know that when I do DIYs here on my channel, at least over the past couple of years, I've wanted it to be a DIY that one, was easy to do, and that two, made sense for your pocketbook. Like, I didn't want to try to come up with something that you could easily buy for cheaper. And then three, I wanted you to be able to be proud about having that item in your home that you created. And I've just found that harder and harder to do these days, all of those three things. And I'll just let you know that last fall when I did my Halloween DIY video, that video almost broke me. In particular, there was a ghost that I tried to make in that video, and what you don't see behind the scenes are all of the trips to Home Depot to get all of the different products that I needed for this project, and how many times I failed trying to make this ghost, how many clothes I ruined, how many just like days it took to try to perfect this craft, and just how miserable I was during this whole process. And if you've been with my channel for a while now, you will know that Halloween and Christmas are my most favorite holidays. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm, spending all of this time making these DIYs and I'm not happy. And I have just come to a point in my life where I want to be happy. And what I do on my YouTube channel, I want it to bring me happiness and I want it to bring you happiness. And I just felt like DIYs just were not doing it for me. And even like my Christmas video that I did last year, I am most proud of my gingerbread man candle, but behind the scenes, I spilled a whole jar of wax on my countertop. And I spent hours trying to clean the wax off of my kitchen countertops. And there's still some wax up there, I'm sure, to this day from that video. These DIY videos just take a long time. They take a lot of money trying to perfect the different crafts, and they're very messy. And I just haven't been enjoying them as much as in the past. So I will still continue to do DIYs, but only when they make sense. And I guess that's like the best way I can answer that question. I know a lot of things in different stores now are a lot cheaper, and it makes more sense to buy the item than to make it. So I don't know. There are a lot of things that go into it. I still love crafting. I still love DIYs, but I'm only going to do DIYs and crafts when I have like creativity and when they bring me happiness. Okay, so this next question is, how do I deal with mean comments or mean people in general? And this is tough. So this is one of the hardest parts about being a YouTuber, putting yourself out there, is you do get mean comments. I don't know anybody who does this job who doesn't get some sort of like mean or negative comment, and they do come through, and quite often they do come through. But I will say YouTube is for the most part a very positive platform, but you do get an occasional mean comment, and it used to be that they would really bother me, but now not so much. I last year experienced some of the worst trolling I've ever experienced in my life, and I stumbled across early one morning some people talking about me out on the internet, and it wasn't just one person, it was just a thread of people saying terrible things about me. And I was reading this and I just started bawling, crying. And it was that weekend that I realized that what people think about me, you know, it doesn't serve me in any way. And while it does affect you in a way that people can be so mean and can think certain things about you, you really have to have thicker skin. And I will say that moment really changed me as a content creator, because I no longer care what people think about me. And, you know, you want people to like you, but not everybody's going to. And people are going to think you're beautiful, and some people are going to think you're really ugly, and some people are going to like what you're doing on YouTube, and some people are going to hate it. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to keep your head down and just keep creating. And one thing that I quote often is Dory from Finding Nemo, like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And that's what I tell myself all the time. But last year, man, I really, once I stumbled across what people were saying about me, it was a turning point for sure. But a good turning point, because it made me realize that what people say, it's none of my business. This next question is about my fiance and how we met. And oh my goodness, we almost didn't, you guys. We almost didn't. If these certain events did not unravel the way that they unraveled, then we never would have met. But to set the scene for you, it was 2021 in October. I was in Boston and I was there on a YouTuber trip. I was with some awesome people and we were doing some really cool things. However, I was kind of in my feelings the whole weekend because I liked this guy who didn't like me as much. Like, he would love bomb me and then disappear. And it was really making me sad that I wasn't hearing from him very much throughout the weekend. I think we've all been there. And so I decided that weekend that I was done with guys. I was done with dating. I just didn't want to be bothered with it anymore. So I was like, I'm going to focus on my friends. And while I was at the Boston airport about to fly back home to Orlando, where I was living at the time, I made arrangements with a friend of mine to go out, and we were going to go out to a country bar that we like. So I landed in Orlando, and then I immediately went out to hang out with my friend, and we walked into the bar. It was completely packed except for 2 open bar stools. And so she and I walked up to the bar stools. There was this guy sitting there, and I said, is anybody sitting here? And he said, no, you guys can sit there. So we sat down in these 2 empty bar stools, and the guy who was right there, who we asked about the bar stools, happened to be my future fiance. We just hit it off that evening. We didn't stop talking. We didn't leave the bar until like 2 a.m. And then the next day, he called me. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but I'm telling you, dating nowadays, it is very rare for a guy to call you. And I remember talking to my mom that day. I said, this guy, he's different. He called me. And I know, like, it's like, oh my gosh, like that seems like something normal someone would do, but I'm telling you, it's rare. It's rare nowadays for a guy to call. And he has called me every day since, and he's just been the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I will tell you too, it really opened my eyes to the way that you're supposed to be treated in a relationship and the way that a guy is supposed to pursue you. And all throughout that year, I was meeting different guys, and I talked about this kind of earlier in the video. I was meeting guys that made me feel bad, or just, you know, it really comes down to, if a guy wants you, they are going to pursue you. And if you are wasting your time right now on someone who is not invested in you, move on. Truly move on, because you deserve to be treated so much better, and you deserve to have someone in your life who pursues you and values you, and it just makes the world of difference. Now, talking about my fiance leads me to all of these wedding questions, and I got so many questions about my wedding. So I was thinking about doing a wedding planning video and putting a lot of those questions in that video. So if you're interested in that, let me know, because I do have a lot to share when it comes to my wedding. It is several months away, but I've already planned out so much of it. And last week we actually had our tasting. It went so well. I'm so excited about the wedding, but it is a spring wedding. And I have my dress, I have my theme, I have all of the different like invitations, signs, florals, all of those things already picked out. So I would love to share all of that with you. I got my wedding shoes this week, and it's not what you think. It's not what you think. So, okay, I feel like I'm giving a lot of teasers for the wedding, but basically it is coming up. I've been planning behind the scenes a lot for it, and it's been a stressful experience, but now that I'm getting closer to the actual date, it's something that I'm really looking forward to. And for me, my philosophy on like having a big wedding, I know a lot of people think it's a waste of money, but I've lost so many people in my life, and not to be morbid, but I have lost so many people in my life that I'm a big believer in experiences and spending money on getting people together. So I feel like I am throwing a big party for all of my favorite people. And I'm also celebrating the person that I love. So I'm trying not to get emotional. It's human nature for us to show up for weddings and funerals. I don't know why that is, but people make an extra effort to show up at weddings and funerals. So I was like, well, I'll be here for my wedding, you know? So I love the fact that I'm going to get to throw a big party for my friends and family, but it's not necessarily something that other people have to do. But I understand now why people do throw a big wedding. And that's one of the reasons why I am doing it, is because I would rather spend my money throwing a big party for my friends and family than on anything else. All right, guys, so that's it for this question and answer video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I had so much fun getting a bit more personal with you and updating you on the YouTube channel, and also a few things in my personal life. And I also wanted to say a big thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Be sure to click on my link down in the description box below, or go to betterhelp.com/chic-on-the-cheap to get 10% off your first month of therapy at BetterHelp. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until my next one, I'll see you then. Okay, so I did want to start this video with a bang, and I found this at Walmart. It's a party confetti popper. I just celebrated my 6th full year here on YouTube, and I thought maybe we could open this up and celebrate together, but I have no idea what to expect. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's a little scary. It says, remove the outside plastic cover, firmly hold party popper upright, rotate in the direction of arrows, do not point at people, animals, or objects, keep a safe distance of at least 13 feet, shoots up to 6.5 feet. Please clean up after use. They tell you have to clean up after you use this. Okay, oh my goodness. Where are the arrows? Okay, so I've not found any arrows, but let's just twist it at the bottom here. I'm kind of scared. Oh. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. But I don't think I got anything on camera. It all went that direction.